All right, all right. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Hello, hello. Welcome to B2B Hour here on Auto Conversion. This is a live monthly webcast that we do here to facilitate. That we facilitate for B2B marketing and sales professionals. That includes business leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, aspiring business owners, and entrepreneurs. This is for you. Today is Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. I am Ryan Girardi, your host, and I thank you for being here, whether you're watching the live stream here with us or tuned in for the replay. Great for you to be here, whether it's your first time or your last, or yeah, great to have you here. So our general theme for the show, general speaking, is how to stay connected and engage with customers and strategic partners and employees. So we offer a unique product here on auto conversion to help you do this. And so we invite you here to learn, to network, to grow your personal, your professional brand, grow your network, grow your online reputation. Last month, our focus was on cryptocurrency and your business, really looking at what the future holds for businesses with crypto. Today, we're going to expand on some of these ideas, focus more specifically on content monetization and ownership in the Web3 era. So, specifically, we're going to look at how a new brand of crypto social media platforms are changing the networking model for creators by empowering creators to monetize their own content without interruptive and disruptive advertising models that we've become so familiar and accustomed with. Also, going to look at how businesses can support such creators while cutting their promotional budgets. We have two guests today on the show. Alan Taylor, author of Crypto Social: How Cryptocurrencies Are Changing Social Media. He's also editor of Cryptocracy on Substack. We'll take a look at that. Our other guest is Adam Waring. Adam is founder of GFAM Live, a Web3 publishing platform that we're going to look at. In fact, Alan is going to be interviewing Adam about quarter after, maybe 20 minutes after we get started here. Actually, about quarter after get started. So yeah, sit back and relax, and we are going to get going here on B2B Hour. All right, let's get this party rolling. I'm here on our website, autoconversion.net. Welcome to head on over there. And if you go to blogs, grab the auto conversion blog, because we have two blogs, similar in name, but very different. Very different blogs. The auto conversion blog is focused on B2B concepts, media, advertising, and technology. We do a post leading up to every show, so you can see who's going to be on the show and what our focus is going to be. And if you want to subscribe, you can just go right up there and hit sign up, or just look at any of our other free signups that you can join. Any opt-in that you do will get you subscribed to the blog. So creating content, that's going to be our focus, monetizing and ownership of content. But creating content for the web, I don't know, could be considered a labor of love by other. It could be considered a necessary evil. I guess it depends how you look at it. But creating content for your personal brand or business, really, it's a little bit of both. You kind of have to create content, whether you like it or not. But no matter what, creating good content, it's time consuming. That makes it expensive. I've personally been creating blog content since 2006, and I've got an immeasurable number of hours into blogging, video creation, podcast. I put a lot of time into that. But because of its time consumption, there has to be some sort of identifiable ROI that's associated with what I like to say is the energy, not the time, not the cost, not the out-of-pocket money, but the energy. Because energy, as far as I'm concerned, in nature, there's a balance. So if you're putting energy into something and you're not getting the energy back, that's bad ROI. And I've been there. It's something you always, if you're a content creator, you're always up against. So how do you measure ROI? That's the big question. In movies, a basic ROI is typically going to be gross ticket sales less the cost of making the movie, and boom, you've got your ROI. Now, of course, there's many other, minute factors involved with, creating. I'm sorry, with monetizing a movie. I should probably say that with monetizing movies. There's other costs that are associated with that, but that's a basic ROI. Let's look at maybe B2B content, like a case study. Whether you make it on your own or hire a company to do it, you're probably going to put in a minimum $2,000 to $3,000 into making a case study, just one single case study. But then you got to advertise it. How much are you going to put into that? $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to advertise that. That may or may not include the actual labor cost to make that. So what would be a good ROI from a case study? If you want to 10x your return, 10x is a common, I think, objective, right? Or a common marketing goal is how do you 10x your ROI or your profit? Well, then you would need to make $40,000 to $60,000 off of that case study to really have a good 10x ROI. So, these are tangibles. These are concrete ROI measurements that we can count on. But what about curators or platform creators? Like YouTube creators, TikTok creators. What about these guys? Their ROI is determined by the ad revenue that their content generates. But this has created a situation where these creators who actually produce the content, the majority become underpaid, under-monetized. They are not fully capturing the value that they're making. Is that a reflection of their content, or is that a symptom maybe of the platform? In the, what I like to say, the previous Web 2 era, I mean, we're in a transition stage right now, going from Web 2 to Web 3. So, systems are mixing, if you will. But in the Web 2 era, monetization and ownership, there's two major concerns for content creators. For one, creators don't have as much choice. They don't have any choice really, but to rent the audience from the platform. They don't really own the audience. They obviously don't own the platform. And then they got to find brands that are keen to pay money for access to that audience. So, these are challenges that content creators have. In Web3, which is really new in its infancy, it's emerging. New technologies are allowing creators to monetize their content more efficiently and even retain ownership. So I don't know if that excites you, but anyone who puts their blood, their sweat, their tears into their content will probably say there's never enough time in the day to get through it all. And I think the majority of content creators would agree that they would like to earn more income from these endeavors. So that's what we're going to cover in this episode. That's the general theme. I've got Alan Taylor, and Adam Waring in the bullpen. And we're going to take one quick commercial break, and then we will be right back with Alan and Adam. Let me get the commercial break ready, and we should be good in just a second. Hold on. Boom and boom. There we go. Today's show is brought to you in part by SmartPiXL, powered by M1 Data and Analytics.
Hello, Jason here. Patent pending SmartPiXL is truly unique. When this simple piece of code is placed in the header of a website, it turns anonymous website visitors into fully identified consumer data. That's right, we can turn those clicks and visits into powerful data about the consumers visiting your website. You don't get that type of insight or data from Google Analytics. The type of data provided is name, address, email, what type of car they drive, homeowner, and much more. Up to 306 attributes about the consumer is revealed to you. Now, some would say, well, I already have that. Do you? The industry today is full of retargeting that depends on third-party cookies and IP retargeting. In either case, you're not truly matching to an accurate one-to-one identity. IP retargeting, by nature, is flawed due to the simple fact that up to 22 different devices can be using the same IP address, meaning you can't really be sure that you're engaging with the right person. Thousands of clients are using SmartPiXL today. It works in all kinds of industries like auto dealers, RV dealers, real estate, consumer goods, hospitality, and much, much more. Websites of all types and sizes are benefiting from SmartPiXL. Many of our clients use this amazing data in custom audience creation within Facebook and other channels. It's shown our clients a 3 times higher conversion and significant reduction in ad spending. If you'd like to learn more about SmartPiXL and other amazing things that M1 Data does, please visit getsmartpixel.com. Thanks a lot.
Hi there, Malin Taylor, editor of Cryptocracy. That was a great introduction, Ryan. Thank you very much. Adam, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
So I am a person. I'm a person from the country of Australia, but I'm currently in the US. And that kind of led me into the whole crypto space, mainly because I had money in Australia. And I remember like trying to get it out of Australia to America, and the bank in Australia like just wouldn't let me have my own money. Their solution was for me to fly from America back to Australia over the weekend to like be able to sign a form, and that just seems so crazy to me in like this digital world. So I started looking for better solutions, and obviously cryptocurrency can be that better solution. So yeah, that kind of like piqued my interest, and I've been in the US for about 6 years and kind of been looking at crypto for most of that time. So yeah, it's a really exciting place to be, both logistically and I don't know, metaphysically.
Awesome. Yeah, fascinating story. I like that. Well, introduce us to GFAM. Tell us what that is. What inspired you to create it?
Yeah, so gfam.live is a platform that I've created to really help content creators earn from their efforts. So like Ryan was saying earlier, talking about how, YouTube creators, TikTok creators, it's really hard for them to monetize. They have to be advertiser friendly. So that's a big thing. You hear lots of stories about YouTube creators having their videos demonetized, or community strikes, or all those kind of strikes that they suffer from. I know on TikTok, like there aren't ads specifically attached to people's videos, so it's really hard for TikTok to like give money to people, and people aren't making very much. So all these people are making like, they have thousands of followers or millions of followers, but they aren't necessarily making very much. So GFAM is set up so that users can get, paid directly by the people that enjoy their content. So, someone doesn't need to be advertiser friendly. They can just make the content that they love. They don't have to have like sponsorship deals or, have ads in their content. They can just create the content that they love, and their audience can either pay them through tips using cryptocurrency, or the subscription, which is the web monetization technology, which allows someone to essentially get paid while their audience is consuming their content, which is amazing technology.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me about the features of GFAM.live. What features do you have that the legacy social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, the other platforms don't have?
Yeah. So like when I started GFAM, so I've been working on it for a couple of years, and like in that time, we've actually seen some of the Web 2 companies come up with very similar features. So for instance, like Twitter has the ability to, send someone a tip, but because they use something like, I think it's PayPal or Stripe, I think they use Stripe, they end up taking like almost 50% of, the tip. And I know platforms like Twitch, they take quite a big amount. YouTube is the same. They have their super followers, and you can send, if someone's doing a live stream on YouTube, you can send money to have your question asked and answered. and YouTube takes quite a big percentage of that. And then the payment provider, like, you know, a PayPal or a Stripe or whatever, they take their cut as well. With GFAM, if I tip you, Alan, then you get 100% of that tip. There's no GFAM fees, there's no network fees. It's all on the blockchain, on the XRP ledger. So there is just no cost. So it doesn't matter like where you are. There's no international processing fees, anything like that. It doesn't matter what country I'm in. It doesn't matter what country you're in. We can just like tip each other, and you know, it all just works.
So you get no percentage of that, and you don't have advertising. How does GFAM make money? How do you capitalize on that?
Yeah, so there was the web monetization technology that I was talking about. So essentially, like, people can pay a $5 subscription, and what that means is when they pay that subscription, when they spend time on a creator's site or creator's page or creator's content, then that creator gets that information, gets those microtransactions for the time spent on their content. GFAM makes money in a similar way, so that any subscribers that spend time on the GFAM site that aren't on a creator's page, then GFAM gets that money. So when you're like, you know, if you're a subscriber and you spend time on the blog or the main page, then GFAM gets that money. So that's really how GFAM is paying the bills at the moment.
Oh, cool. So you do that. Yeah. You do that through a protocol. And
yes.
What's that protocol called?
That's called the Interledger Protocol. And the way that it works is, so there's Coil, which is a company, coil.com. They have used the Interledger Protocol, and they have like a $5 USD monthly subscription. And anyone who has an active subscription can use a bunch of different sites. And when they use those sites, they end up paying the creators of those sites or the creators of the content. So it's a way for people to directly contribute for the content that they love to consume. So awesome. So that's how that kind of works. And then basically there's microtransactions. So if you have an account, so if I have a Coil subscription and you have a payment pointer, then I send you microtransactions for every like second that I spend on your content, literally while I'm spending that time on your content, and that works through a browser extension. So yeah, it's a pretty amazing technology. It means that, you know, we don't need algorithms. We don't need Facebook telling us exactly, you know, what we should look at and what we shouldn't look at. We don't need Instagram or Twitter like trying to enrage us to keep us on their site and keep us like looking at advertisers. It means we can just enjoy the content that we actually care about and not necessarily have it interrupted by brands and sponsors and all that sort of stuff. So I think Coil is super important. I think this technology is really exciting.
Yeah. So how would a business take advantage of these benefits on your platform and similar platforms in the space?
Yeah, so I think what I'm trying to do is actually change the relationship that businesses have with their consumers, right? So at the moment, a business advertise. So it basically like shotguns approaches, you know, there's a shotgun approach to trying to like advertise to everyone or a selected group of people in the hope that someone purchases the product. So, you know, people advertising spend so much money in the hope that they get that return on investment. Maybe it's 1%, you know. And so what we're trying to do is change that relationship. So if someone, you know, creates a post on GFAM, maybe using, I don't know, like a hat or whatever, then that hat brand could tip the person for having their product in their post. Businesses can like reward their customers instead of advertising to everyone. They can just reward their customers and build a relationship with their customers and tip them directly. to to basically reward them for spreading the word out. So what this means, and because we're using blockchain technology, like we know of Instagram influencers, and that's where a company or a brand pays Kylie Jenner $500,000 to mention their product in one of her posts. But instead of doing that, that brand could reward 500,000 people for using their product instead of just paying one person to advertise to people who may or may not care. So I think, we can change that relationship, and businesses can, work with their customers and work with content creators and work with the people who love their product instead of trying to convince random other people that don't care to watch their advertising.
So if you're a business and you're using XRP, for instance, to do cross-border payments, and a lot of businesses are doing this, then you can go to GFAM and sort of sponsor content creators on the platform by tipping them in small amounts of XRP, and you can do that with hundreds of different curators. And that sort of is a type of marketing itself, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. And it just means that because, it's hard to pay lots of people using traditional finance, like there's all the fees and all that sort of stuff. It's literally very hard. But on the XRP ledger, you can tip thousands or hundreds of thousands of people very, very easily if that's what you want to do with no fees. Awesome. And it takes 3 seconds. So yeah, it's definitely better.
And you have gated content on GFAM as well. So if a business wanted to produce, let's say, an exclusive newsletter or make exclusive content for a particular audience, then they could just charge that audience a small amount of, is it XRP that they would pay to gain access?
So it's either XRP or it's the web monetization. So they can gate it so that, you have to pay 10 XRP to consume that content, or you have to have the web monetization. You have to have an active subscription so that you can view that content. And so we have tutorials available. If you went to the menu and went to GFAM Learn, then there's all these tutorials so students can pay teachers. We have like a chat feature as well. And soon we'll have challenges so that brands can provide a challenge or a quest to their customers and then pay them for their efforts. So we can really change the way businesses interact with their consumers.
That's fascinating. Awesome. Adam, I want to thank you for coming on the show and letting me interview you. I know Ryan's probably going to have some questions. We can have a great discussion here. He can join us here on a panel discussion, and we can talk a little bit more about it.
Thanks so much, Alan.
If you are not familiar with the Velcro and Teflon effect, I'm here to break it down with you for a few minutes. Okay. Velcro does what? Velcro sticks together, right? You get Velcro pieces and stick it on fabric or whatever. It sticks. And then you got Teflon, slides off. It just seems that negative things stick together, stick in our minds and our hearts, doesn't it though? And all of a sudden it sticks, and then another thing sticks, another thing. Next thing you know it, I'm not in a good place. You're not in a good place. That's the Velcro. And doesn't it seem like sometimes we could someone encourage us, someone give us a compliment, and it's not long, it doesn't stick too much. It can just slide right off like Teflon and be replaced with something negative that sticks to us like Velcro. Back in the day, human beings, there's something called survival mode. And let's say years and years ago, when our life depended on certain things, okay, we'd get a negative thought or a fearful thought, and it would actually keep us alive. Now, this is back in the day. These negative things can actually cause us to go into survival mode. They can actually save our life. But see, how many of us have people chase us down for our life today, day in and day out? We don't. We are not meant to just survive where a chemical's released in our body to keep us alive. We are actually meant to thrive. So in a sense, we want to take the negative Velcro, right, that's there meant there for a survival mechanism, and we want to help retrain our brains to think more positively.
Folks, that was Inside Out Leadership Mentor. Let me make sure I'm okay. That was Inside Out Leadership Mentor Robb Holman during the Wellness Mindset segment of B2B Hour here on Auto Conversion. Robb is an internationally recognized leadership expert, executive coach, and podcast host, also a keynote speaker and best-selling author who has a heart for authentic relationships and a true talent for equipping people with the skills and knowledge necessary for their success. You can visit Robb on the web at robbholman.com. That's ROBB Holman.com. What I want to do is just acknowledge a great conversation there with Alan and Adam. We're going to have the two of them back on in just a few moments. I'm going to go through some news headlines. Before I do, I just want to draw your attention, folks, to our Blockchain Crypto Pros mastermind group. You can go to autoconversion.net. If you like subjects like this, you want to, whether you're an enthusiast of cryptocurrency and blockchain, or maybe you're new and just getting started, if this subject matter interests you, head over to autoconversion.net. And then under the sign up menu here, you'll see Crypto Pros. And you can sign up here for free. That'll put you in our system. It'll tag you in our system to receive information from us about the Blockchain Crypto Pros group. You'll also get a free copy of our Crypto NFT Starter Kit. This is a free resource we provide. It includes instructions for setting up accounts with Coinbase and Crypto.com, where you can receive free cryptocurrency using our affiliate links included in the kit. The free starter kit also provides an overview of our Blockchain Crypto Starter Guide. This is a 3-day do-it-yourself workshop we offer in multiple ways. So learn more about this and more when you sign up at autoconversion.net. When you do, you'll also get a free copy of Alan Taylor's list of 80 top crypto social media platforms and protocols that pay users in cryptocurrency for posting on their sites, just like we discussed. So I'm going to bring Adam and Alan on in just a moment. What I'm going to do real quick is, if you go back here to our site, if you look at the bottom of the post, we do have some news items that we put up here for discussion. I'm going to gloss through these, and then we'll dive into these a little deeper when we bring on Adam and Alan. But tech workers have enjoyed years of high salaries and first-in-class benefits, trends that only accelerated during the pandemic, but those salad days could be ending. Big tech firms, including Netflix and Meta, formerly known as Facebook, have announced layoffs or pulled back on hiring as they gird for an economic slowdown. Experts say they expect firms to step up their scrutiny of prospective hires, and that workers will have less say on performance expectations or perks. It's already happening at Tesla, where employees were recently banned from remote work. Let me make sure. Okay, good. I have that up there. I wanted to make sure that was showing there. TikTok has responded to data privacy concerns by promising that information gathered about users in the United States is stored in the United States rather than China, where ByteDance, that's the video platform's parent company, is located. But according to leaked audio from more than 80 internal TikTok meetings, China-based employees of ByteDance have repeatedly accessed non-public data about U.S. TikTok users, which is exactly the type of behavior that inspired former President Donald Trump to threaten to ban the app in the United States, you might recall. Now, the recordings, they were reviewed by BuzzFeed News, contain 14 statements from 9 different TikTok employees, indicating that engineers in China had access to U.S. data between September 21 and January of 2022. We'll try to keep an eye on that development. I think headlines can maybe seem more frightening than they really are. I mean, what kind of data, is it that the Chinese government is accessing about users in the US? I can speculate. What kind of threat does that pose? It's kind of hard to say. So, but it is evidence of how these apps are so important and have so much utility for big tech companies and governments. And I'll remind you folks, if you're using something for free, you are the product. Your actions, your behavior, your anticipated activity, that is the product that becomes so lucrative to these companies. So by using them, you empower them. You're going to hear me push that message more and more. You are empowering big tech. Remember, I was talking about ROI by giving them your energy. What Alan and Adam are talking about are crypto social platforms where that monetization potential stays within the user base, within the publishers and the viewers that are using it, not subject to algorithms and advertisers. Complicated subject matter, to say the least. Okay, Amazon. Where did this one go? Amazon is taking steps to get its long-delayed drone delivery project off the ground. The company announced it would launch its inaugural drone delivery service in the town of Lockford, California, later this year, after it receives the green light from Federal Aviation Administration. Now, Amazon says that Lockford residents will be the first to receive prime delivery packages delivered to their backyards via drone. Thousands of items will be eligible for delivery, although Amazon has not specified which ones those are. Oh, I just lost it there. And finally, just to wrap things up, this is going to be the start of our conversation with Alan and Adam. June was the worst month for Bitcoin in 12 years. Will the crypto winter get worse? That is the question. And to start off this conversation, Alan, I'm going to bring you on, and Adam as well. And we're going to kickstart this here. Great interview, guys. I have questions for you as follow-up. But to kickstart this discussion, Alan, I would love if you could provide us with some perspective about the crypto winter that we are witnessing right now and what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, it's a scary thing when the market crashes, because if you're new to crypto, then you may not be familiar with the many ups and downs that the market has experienced in the last 12 years. It's inherently volatile. This is not a bug, it's a feature. And, a part of that is just the simple fact of supply and demand. Investors get in, investors get out. When investors get in, a lot of investors get in at the same time, or a lot of large investors get in at the same time, then it drives the prices upward. And when they pull their money out, then it drives the market down. And so what we've seen this year is some significant events. There's the Celsius crypto lending fiasco. They're in trouble. They're in hot water. Looks like they may not survive. There's Terra Luna, which some are saying was the catalyst for this crash. And, that whole algorithmic stablecoin thing that just didn't work out. It was a house of cards and it fell down. And there's been a ripple effect in the market. These things happen. It's just a part of the territory. I'm optimistic. I think some things are going to change here real soon. I expect regulation to come down the pike, which is going to change the market, maybe provide a little bit more stability. It will certainly create some guardrails for companies operating in the space. And I think that's going to be good for investors. It will also, I think, attract a certain type of investor that looks for those guardrails in the financial markets, traditional financial markets, where they operate and they're comfortable operating. I think once those guardrails are in place in crypto, we'll see those people joining in the crypto space. But I'm optimistic overall. The ups and downs are natural to the space. It just so happens that this particular down market is a pretty hard one, harder than most, but I think it'll bounce back up again, and I remain optimistic. I can't give you a date on that. I'm not going to, predict any particular timeline, but I am optimistic.
I like your optimism, and I think it's warranted. There's a lot of haters out there that are actually reveling in the downfall of crypto right now. But I think, if anything, you don't look at it as a downfall. Someone made the great observation is that Bitcoin, even though it has its dips, just like all stocks and currencies. Um, I mean, it's still at what, almost 20,000, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
people that, are still kicking themselves because they had, you know, 10 or 100 Bitcoins back when it was a few $100. So,
right.
but now there's speculation that Bitcoin's going to get below 10K. That does seem drastic. Adam, do you have any thoughts on the matter? Any opinion or insights to offer?
So many thoughts on this matter. Essentially, I think, obviously lots of people are investing in cryptocurrencies at the moment, but I think a lot of people are still similar to the people that invest in shares and bonds and all that sort of stuff. So as the US Fed is still going through its quantitative tightening, they're increasing interest rates, they're selling off things, assets from the US Fed balance sheet. So as we see that continue on, I think we're still going to see shares go down and crypto go down because they're both speculative assets. So really, personally, I don't think crypto is really going to start to go back up until the US Fed is out of the market and they've told everyone that they're not going to raise rates anymore. So I think the US Fed is a huge influencer in this space, and hopefully that is not something that we see too much of in the future.
That's very peculiar. So you believe that the U.S. federal government is the largest factor of influence that's affecting the crypto markets?
Yeah, I think so. So basically, I think they're the biggest influencer on assets. So I'm talking bonds and shares and stocks, and crypto is a part of that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's lots of firms that are pulling their money out and sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to stop raising.
Yeah. Okay. That's an astute point. That's really good. Not to belabor that, I want to switch to, you saw me read a few news items, and I was thinking I might bring this one back on. This data leak that's reported with TikTok.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to get into the data leak specifically, but TikTok is a social media platform. It's the Web 2 era that we're literally talking about right now. Are data leaks like this not a non-issue on blockchain? And I put this out to both of you if you have an answer for that.
So I might go first if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product. Like all these big tech firms are selling your data as you spend time. They're selling the data of your audience as they spend time on your content, and they don't even know necessarily who they're selling that to or how many times it gets sold. But the amount of data that is available to these tech companies is absolutely huge. Like you have your location data, potential transactions that you make, the time that you spend, just on this page is being tracked. So there's a lot of data. And so for Web3, we don't need that information. So on GFAM, like you don't even have to say like, oh, I accept cookies, because we don't need cookies. We don't need to track what people are doing because we don't care. There's no algorithm, there's no advertisers. All your data and all your audience's data is completely safe because we don't need it. We don't want it, So there aren't those kind of privacy concerns. I won't say that there are no privacy concerns with Web3, because as soon as you attach a wallet, that, potentially increases more information about you or your transactions. So I do think people will need to be careful. But yeah, I think from a overall data perspective, Web3 just doesn't need that information.
That's another good point. Like you said, with Web3, it's not about algorithms. It's not about an advertising model. And so you don't need the cookies. You don't need the location tracking, the behavior. You don't need all these things because the platform's going to monetize independent of these things. Do you see a world, Adam, where the Web 2 model just is extinct and people reject it? Because, I mean, frankly, I don't think the average citizen of first world countries truly think about and understand their role in enabling this, totalitarian dictatorship, digital dictatorship. Like, to me, it seems so obvious. Like, just take it off your phones and stop using it. Like, if 50% of people or some percentage of people just bailed, I just feel like it would have such an impact, but it's not obvious. It's just not obvious to people. So
yeah, there's a massive cultural shift that needs to happen where people are used to getting things for free on the internet. Like you join Facebook and you can see like, your cousin's birthday or your auntie's cake that she made, and people like that content, but they don't realize how much data is being collected by Facebook on them or their cousin or their auntie. So I'm not sure if it will die off because companies really want that data. Like, data is the new oil. So companies want it so badly. I'm not sure that Web 2 will necessarily go away. And I think some people just don't even care. They're like, I don't mind being advertised to. I don't care who buys my data because I get to see, these photos or this content for free. So there are always going to be an element of people that just doesn't care. But, there's more to it than that. There's the algorithms affecting our moods and body image issues and misinformation and pushing disinformation and all that sort of stuff. Like, we're actually talking about huge societal effects that the Web 2 has on our world. So there's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, I agree with Adam. I think there are a lot of people who really have just bought into this idea that content, information should be free. I should just have access to whatever I want, free. And they don't realize what they're giving up in order to get that freedom, that free content, that free fix, if you will. And they don't realize what they're giving up. But remember, in the early internet days, the first decade of the internet was really kind of a dry land. Who was there? It was just people experimenting. The internet didn't really take off until Web 2. When Facebook and YouTube came along, and then people started coming online in droves to get these, this quick fix of content that's right in your face. That's when the internet really took off. And you can still look at Web 1 properties today. They're not interactive. They're just basic static web pages. So no, I don't think it's going to go away either. And I think right now, and maybe for a very long time, Web 3 will be a niche product. And I'm okay with that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And it could be a very long, slow evangelism process, one person at a time, before you convert the Web 2 people to Web 3. They have to see, some people just have to see the benefits in action before they adopt them for themselves.
Yeah, I think there is some difference in incentive as well. So at the moment, like, you go on TikTok and you do a dance and 1 million people see it and you get 1 million likes. But there's no financial benefit to that like. So I think as people start to see these microtransactions or these small tips come through, that will be far more of a dopamine hit than just some likes, So I think there is some important incentives behind Web3 that might help push it. But I agree with Alan. It's probably going to be niche for a little bit. And, the Web 1 was niche for a very long time.
Yeah, right. It was, very limited access. I mean, the internet is still not available to everybody, let alone,
that's right,
Web 3. Hey, a question came in during your interview from a YouTube viewer. I'm going to bring it up in a little bit. It was related to XRP. So Jace DMF, if you're still on there, I'm going to bring your question up for these gentlemen. But staying with the theme of monetization. All right. So the average user does not understand how they are the product. That's an educational void or gap that, like you said, a cultural shift will have to take place. With GFAM specifically, what I think I heard was, and this is in place, you can purchase a subscription to be a user. Is that what you said? It's like $5 to be a user a month. Okay. And GFAM, the platform, gets a portion of that subscription money based on that user's activity. Is that right? Like you're saying,
Actually, Ryan, in fact, it's not necessarily, it's not GFAM that has the $5 a month. It's Coil, and GFAM uses the Coil monetization. So the way that works, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if I'm a member of Coil, which I am, I pay $5 a month to be a member of Coil, and I go to GFAM and I read the content, even if I'm not a member of GFAM, if I'm reading content on GFAM and the author of that content is also a Coil member, then that author will receive some monetization for their content based on my being on that page reading their content. Isn't that how it works?
That's amazing. Yes, that's exactly right. And then just to add on to that, Coil, has lots of different websites and companies involved. So, Alan's a subscriber. I'm a subscriber. I can spend time on Alan's post on GFAM, or I can go to Alan's website and he'll get it. Or I can go to his YouTube channel and he'll get microtransactions. Or I can go to Imager and not have ads and, help that. And then there's like Condé Nast, their whole like suite of magazines is web monetized. So like there's lots of different places to go, all within one subscription.
So Coil is a subscription service that the end user has on his own, and then your GFAM integrates with it to get to monetize. Okay,
exactly right. Yeah,
that's a whole. It reminds me of Disqus or Discuss, the plugin for websites. Where you're familiar with that. That's you have your account. It's all centralized, but any site supporting it, integrating, same concept. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And the I guess the powerful thing about it is that you receive those microtransactions as the creator while someone is consuming your content. So as a consumer, I could spend all my time just on Alan's website. And so he'll get, the full amount of my monthly subscription amount, or I can spread it over hundreds of people, depending on how much time I spend on each individual bits of content. So on GFAM, you can like literally scroll through people and you might be paying 30 different people different amounts depending on how much time you spend on their content, which I think is phenomenal.
Who's controlling that portion? Is that Coil or is that GFAM?
It is the Interledger protocol. So the browser extension is tracking, which person you're paying and for how long you're paying them. It's the protocol that does it. And Coil is just the company that basically said, give us $5 USD and we'll convert it into this blockchain money for you.
Okay. Yeah. This just came up. What keeps Facebook, Instagram, TikTok from doing that? It's because there's more money in advertising?
I don't know why they couldn't do it. They probably could, but I don't think it's in their best interest. So TikTok, for example, the ads are between the content. So you watch a video of someone dancing and then there's an ad and then you watch a video of someone's puppy. So it's not really related to the creators. So TikTok is just receiving all that advertiser money and then they're just kind of giving it out to the people who they think are maybe contributing to the platform. On YouTube, the specific ads are tailored to videos, but the video has to be advertiser friendly. And I think you have to have people like actually click on the video, on the ads, or, there's a metric like that. So platforms could pay their creators way more than they do. And I think YouTube is maybe the best in that regard, but they don't want to. And I think the thing that people need to remember is YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok wouldn't exist if we weren't donating our energy to them. There'd be nothing there.
Yeah.
So, you can spend your time on YouTube or TikTok, or you can spend it on GFAM, and then you get paid for your energy.
And I'd like to add to that, if I may, remember Facebook, Twitter, most of these platforms were started before the opportunity arose. And if you look at Facebook, they make billions every year in revenue. About 90 to 95% of that is advertising revenue. That is their business model. And so, as Adam said, it would not be in their best interest really to change that, because they're making so much money doing it. It has worked for them for so long. Why change it?
Good point. I'm going to bring up this question here, and then we'll have to wrap up because we're out of time for the day. This is from a YouTube viewer while you guys were interviewing, asking, are there any music NFT projects on XRP? Specify what XRP is so everybody knows.
It is the XRP is just
Is that Cardano?
Cryptocurrency. It's the cryptocurrency that Ripple has been using.
Yeah.
But yeah, the XRP ledger is the blockchain that the XRP cryptocurrency works on.
Okay. And the music producers are also 27. So
yeah. So with this question, and thanks Jace for asking it, XRP recently, like in the last week or two, just enabled NFTs on the XRP ledger. Which is really exciting. We haven't really seen it be implemented yet, so there aren't many applications that are doing it. But there is an application called the Free Music Archive that people can put their music on. And there's thousands of songs on the Free Music Archive at the moment. And as you're playing those songs, you can pay the creators through web monetization, micropayments while you're listening to the songs. So that works on the same way that GFAM works using XRP. So that is a potential. I don't think there's any NFT music projects just yet. So Jace, if you know any programmers, build it, man.
Very knowledgeable. Jace, thanks for the great question. And I'm glad we were able to get you a good response there. And yeah, that's a good way of thinking. Like if it doesn't exist, then now's the time to build it, right? Just like you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Jace was still on and was able to say thank you. So that's good. Because he did ask, that question was quite a bit ago.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam, aside from just creating an account and getting started on GFAM, do you have any direction for someone, like myself, who's just ready to start publishing? I'm convinced, I already knew I didn't want to be part of the, of the Web 2 social media anymore. And that was before I really knew anything about crypto social. So it's kind of like, I'm already sold. What do you recommend for getting started? I know, Alan, you've kind of, you pointed me to publish 0x and Hive, and now there's GFAM. Do you need to be on multiple platforms? Is it best to focus on one, or maybe one or two?
Obviously, just focus on GFAM. That's all you
get
need.
it done. Okay.
Yeah. No. Like
good
Hive is
great.
Like all these other platforms are great, and Alan is doing a particularly good job. And you had Scott the other day, who was publishing on 40 platforms, and that's intense. But that works for him. I think Alan's probably got a better idea. I personally just use Hive and GFAM. But I think GFAM's really simple. Like you don't have to you can just set up an account. Don't worry about the wallets and stuff, and you can start posting and start to build your audience. And then as you decide that you want to get tips, then you can set up a wallet. GFAM has no details on the wallet. Like we just need your address and that's it. So it's all very secure. And then if you want web monetization, then you could go down the coil path, but you can just start in very simple steps. Like, I know crypto can feel very overwhelming and a little bit scary. And so GFAM is really there to like help hold your hand. We've got our GFAM chat, which is, in the menu, you can go to chat and people can ask questions and other people or myself can respond. So you can go to chat there. And then in the learn section, there's tutorials. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not logged
It's
in
only
yet.
for users. Yeah. We'll set up tutorials to help people, figure out what they want, to build or to get started with. So there's a lot of information available for people. But yeah, I would just suggest start as small as you can and just see how you go, and then like build as you want.
And this just came to mind. I mean, this is the B2B hour, so our focus on business to business, and it's it's common to have, say, a personal brand and then a company or a non-personal brand entity. So for GFAM, are there different types? Do you have business profiles and user profiles, or is it just set up a user profile?
It can be either or. It doesn't matter. You're just setting up a profile. It doesn't matter if it's Ryan G or if it's your business. If you set up a business account, which is just a normal account, you could then start to tip people that are talking about things that you want to talk about, or sending out if they're sharing your information or your content, then you can tip them for that. Like, you could use a potential advertising budget to reward your loyal listeners and consumers and the people going to your workshops and stuff like that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for businesses here.
It's actually not a bad idea. I mean, the fact that you can you could set up a business profile as a business and then reward other creators, for their content. It's a great business play. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah. I think hopefully advertising will become a thing of the past, because it's not efficient. It's not necessarily a great use of money. It's just the best that we have right now. Until now.
That's a whole different can of worms, but I'm going to touch on that. Advertising as we know it today is a relatively modern phenomenon.
Right.
Relatively, especially with the internet and digital. I think the internet took advertising as we knew it to this level that now we're seeing the negative ramifications of. Whereas pre-internet advertising was big business, right? You had TV, magazine, radio, you had big industries, but even those industries were relatively new. I'm talking like within the last, several decades new. And so the internet totally changed that. But, you go back 150 years, you still had advertising. I don't think I could cite examples other than, posting, bills up on boards in town. That was advertising. Outside of that, it was word of mouth, and maybe businesses couldn't print letters and mail them out to thousands of businesses.
They painted big signs on the sides of mountains.
Yeah.
or hosting the Coliseum games or something.
Yeah, that's probably how it worked back then. So, I mean, it's we're stuck. We kind of just accept what's around us at face value and forget that there's always been other ways to get things done. So, and now, we're paying for it now. And like you said, it's going to take time to, maybe in our lifetimes, the Web 2 advertising model may still be around in our lifetime. Maybe it'll be gone in 10 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's hard to really understand the huge influence that advertising has had on our entire society.
Jace has another question for us, which maybe we can answer. What about taxes? If you receive thousands of microtransactions in a volatile currency, won't your earnings declaration be a nightmare? Is it possible to defer payment to one per month? I like.
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually ran into that on Hive when I was very active on Steemit. When I was very active on Steemit, and if you're not tracking what you're doing on a daily basis, at the end of the year, it's tax time, you got to go back through and look for all of these transactions. If you choose to report that as income, I'm not going to tell you, don't do that. That's between you and your attorney, whether you do that. But the law is the law. you're supposed to pay taxes on your income, and so you count that as income. Now there is legislation being proposed that would make microtransactions non-taxable up to a certain amount, but that hasn't passed. Until then, your conscience and your CPA are your best guides, and I would say track what you're doing as much as you can on a daily basis.
Yeah. Obviously, it's very region specific. So you have to pay taxes in your location that you're living. And that's why we're finding that places like Portugal and Malta are actually getting more. These are places that don't tax crypto at the moment. And they're getting more investment in those areas. They're bringing more companies in because, there's lots of locations where crypto is just really confusing from a taxation point of view. It's, as Alan said, like you really need to work with your accountant to figure out what the story is in your location.
You only need to declare from the moment you claim. Yeah. And typically it's when you're pulling the money out of the crypto exchange.
When you convert it to dollars, usually is when
that's when the tax
becomes
applies.
Income. Yeah. But I think that'll change. I think all of this will change.
That's where regulation is going to come into play. And that's going to be country by country. In the U.S., probably state by state. Exactly.
Yeah. And the nature of what the actual product is. So, I consider, so if you're looking at DeFi, for instance, most of that is investment. You're entering into an investment contract, whereas on the crypto social platforms, if you're not putting money into it, you're just putting your time into it. That's really more like income. So it really depends on how it's classified. And right now there's no legal classification.
Jace, thank you for the questions. I will use the opportunity just for everybody here. Alan's getting pretty familiar with auto conversion, but for Adam, for your sake, and for Jason, others that might be watching, if you go to autoconversion.net, under About is Communities. We recently launched a channel on Telegram. It's really just an announcement channel like Twitter would be. We just don't use Twitter anymore. So we did recently launch a channel on Telegram for auto conversion. Folks, you're welcome to subscribe to that. I don't think that you can interact with us through Telegram. You might be able to reply. I know you can't post, but you might be able to reply. That's one way to answer questions. Obviously, here on the live streams, like Jace is doing, you can use comments for questions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Definitely want to do that. You'll get notified when we go live. We do this show once a month here, B2B Hour. And we don't promote it a whole lot, but we do just invite folks of interest like Jace is doing here and just, tune in, ask questions. And we've got experts like Alan and Adam here to help answer your questions. If you want to be part of these discussions, there's a way to do that. What I would recommend is go to the programming section on our website here. And here's what you can do. You can sign up for B2B Hour and just get on our VIP list. And that way you'll get notified when we have shows. But if you like this subject matter, look under sign up and go to Crypto Pros. I mentioned this earlier. You can sign up right here. What we do is we send invites to invite you to be part of these discussions. And if you want to be part of these discussions, we definitely want to encourage that. And going back here to our member channels, we have an influencers group. It's a private unlisted group on LinkedIn for those that want to be up here. Like Alan and Adam. The benefit of coming up here, folks, is not only you get to meet great people, you get to interact and learn and network with these folks, but these are recording sessions for the Auto Converse podcast. We do a weekly podcast on all the major platforms. The theme is ideas, people, ideas, and technologies that influence how we are connected and the way we get around. And it's a way, if you come up here on the shows, to be in the podcast. We're able to feature you in the podcast. So that's another option for you as well. Get signed up to the Blockchain Crypto Pro Starter Group. And again, get a free copy of our Crypto NFT Starter Kit as well. We are all set for the day. Adam, Alan, thank you so much for being here. Alan, thanks for bringing Adam on the show. And Adam, it's great meeting you and taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and let you gentlemen go. There's links to their to GFAM Adam's site that he's developed. There's a link to there. It's gfam.live. There's links to Alan's cryptocracy site on Substack, and also his I wasn't sharing my screen earlier when I was talking. Isn't that funny? Links to his LinkedIn profile. So I was earlier I was not sharing my screen. I was here on the About section under Communities. There's a link to our Telegram channel, our YouTube channel, our influencers group on LinkedIn, and then we also have a member network powered by Slack. Now, this is a premium member network. We have many different benefits to being a premium member, whether you want to build help with creating content, like I was just explaining, blog, podcast, video content are one way. So we also have extensive coaching programs. If you look back under our programming here, all these here are what I call touch points. They're usually clubhouse events that we host, private Slack sessions that we do. We have our shows. Every 2 weeks, we do a roundtable for the focus on blogging and podcasting and video marketing. So just opt in one way or another. It's really up to you how. Get signed up to one of our free programs. Any of these you sign up for will tag you, and you'll start getting information related to those. You don't have to pay for anything until you reach the actual paywalls that are associated with them. And hopefully I shared my screen better this time. I am Ryan Girardi. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Thanks, Jace, for your questions up on the YouTube channel. Thank you again to Alan and Adam as well. We'll be back here in August. I don't have the exact date, but actually if I go here to my programming calendar, I can go right here to August, and I can see, the next B2B hour is on August 10th. Every first Wednesday, actually every second Wednesday at noon. All right, that's a wrap. I'm going to play one closing commercial about our Jolt Business Vision program for you, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show and wish everyone a great rest of the day and a great rest of your week. Take care, everybody.
The origin really of this program is recognizing that over 90% of small business owners don't have a business plan in place, don't have a strategic plan. And, it's probably not coincidence that, 96% of small businesses fail in 10 years, that the numbers are pretty close. So I boiled down the most important parts of the process and also added what I believe to be a critical part of the process first, really introspecting inside yourself and deciding what's most important to the entrepreneur, like your personal mission, your cause, your reason, your why, whatever you want to call it, so that we can then go ahead and go through the company's cause and reason, and then really establish the entrepreneur's vision and, go through the most important steps like this.